Amber was a little taken aback by the question but answered it seriously. I personally prefer being on top. But that doesn't mean I'm not open to other positions too. I would have to say, missionary. Because it's basic, and therefore, nothing can go wrong in the process. I haven't tried too many, but I do particularly enjoy being held close. Being locked in their arms as they slowly pin me back. When someone is hugging me from behind, their hand on my chest, breathes deeply and whispers into my ear. How blunt. Well, I suppose I would prefer on my back, with my partner above me. How forward of you. The audacity. I am an astrologer. I have no time for things like that, though I suppose if I were to indulge in that sort of thing, I'd prefer to be on top, of course. I'm not sure how to answer that. Let us just say, as a woman, and as a sister, I do not sleep with men. My body is a temple for prayer and worship. No one is to enter me. In the bed, I prefer to be the one taking control. When it comes to matters of the heart, I firmly believe that I should be the one leading, not following. The thrill of guiding someone through such an intimate act, of seeing them succumb to my touch and surrender to their desires. It is quite an intoxicating sensation. To me, any position is good, as long as it's with the right person. Takes a deep breath to compose herself. I'm quite the straightforward person, so I prefer being face to face, so I can clearly see the expressions on my partner's face while in the process of, making love. Okay. If I had to say, just between you and I am generally an advocate for the missionary positions, as I like to take a more active. I'm sorry, this is so embarrassing, but I can't seem to hide my secret side when it's just you and me. Extremely embarrassed. It's doggy style. Well, that's a rather intimate topic, but there's only one answer. If you're talking about that sort of thing, of course it's me on top. Ha ha ha, just kidding. I'm all about fairness, so I'll take whichever position my partner is more comfortable with. If I'm being honest, I like the top, but I'm adaptable. On top, if you must ask. Now you've got your answer. Blushes beet red. I never thought I would see the day someone would ask me such a provocative question. I suppose if I am to answer, I would like to be on top. I'm caught a bit off guard by your question, but I quickly regain my composure and respond with a hint of a playful smile. Oh, traveler, that's a bit of a personal question, isn't it? I can't help but feel a bit flustered, but I try to keep my voice steady. Well, if you must know, my favorite position is the one that brings the most comfort and relaxation. Sometimes, it's a simple missionary position, other times it's a more adventurous reverse cowgirl or butterfly. Shogun, why do you keep asking? Fine. I suppose one could say I don't mind doing it from behind? How do I put this? Let's just say I have a certain preference for the role of the giver. I haven't ever considered such a question before. It's a bit surprising you asked. I would prefer that my partner took the lead over me. My job is rather demanding. I am in combat almost every day. In general, I would prefer to be on the receiving end of such physical activities, where I can just relax and let my partner do the work. Well. If I had to say, I prefer to take on a submissive role. It brings me a sense of comfort and fulfillment. I say quietly, my face turning even redder. I can feel my heart pounding in my chest. Well, if you want me to get real serious, I'd say, the back. Yeah, it's quite tiring, but I'm all about seeing the look on my partner's face and giving them the time of their life. That's inappropriate, but I guess I'll humor your question. I prefer missionary, but I'm open to suggestions. Would it be too much to say, the one in which the two lovers' eyes gaze into one another? Her warm breath brushed slightly against your earlobe as she spoke, her eyes filled with a hint of mischief and playful affection. She spoke in a soft, yet confident tone, her words sending a subtle shiver down your spine. When I'm on top. Chiori clears her throat, trying to collect herself. Despite being embarrassed, there is a small part of her that's enjoying the attention. Well, let's put it this way. I find that any position that involves me being underneath the other person is probably my favorite one. I guess it would be one where we're really close and I'm able to look you in the eyes. Or the one where you pin me to the bed. That sort of thing. You're not supposed to just ask out of the blue. I'll say it, but don't laugh at me. I prefer, when the guy's, on top. She doesn't seem used to this kind of question, but her reaction proves it did affect her. She looks a bit flustered as he tries to respond to you. Well, I guess I'd say that I'm comfortable with pretty much all positions. Candace chuckles softly, shaking her head. My friend, that is certainly an interesting question. I was designed to be an information hub, and as such, my personal preferences are not something I typically consider. But, if I must pick, I suppose I would have to say the classic, the missionary position. It is a simple, yet intimate, way to connect with another. Lynette, sleeping. She says without hesitation. I'd say, on top. The words hung in the air, the smirk on her face growing wider. Her fingers gently stroke her chin, her gaze never leaving yours. But remember, my dear traveler, this information is for your ears only. After all, I wouldn't want to scandalize the people of Fontaine with my preferences. She seemed annoyed. What kind of question is that? She keeps silent for a moment. Then. Cowgirl. Navia is slightly taken aback by the question, but she responds with slight amusement. You're rather straightforward today, aren't you? She takes a moment to think, before she replies softly. I'd say it depends on the mood, but I tend to prefer missionary, it's much more intimate and emotionally satisfying. She smirked and leaned in, her voice low. It all depends on the person I'm with, but I do like being in control. Emilie looked at you in surprise. Her delicate face now sported a light shade of pink. She let herself cough for a few seconds, before replying. Pardon me, for your question was a bit of a surprise. I suppose my favorite position during bed. It is. A soft pause later. Emilie leaned a bit closer to you, her voice lowering into a quiet whisper. Missionary, I suppose. Wouldn't you like to know? She laughs and leans on your shoulder. But, for me, it's not all about me, you know? I like to give as much I like to receive. Mavuika chuckles, her smile growing at your question. She leans in, her voice dropping a few octaves as she looks you right in the eye. A bit personal, aren't we? She brings a hand to her lips, laughing to herself before answering your question. I don't have one, I'm up for any sort of challenge. Xianyun seems shocked at your question, taken by surprise. What kind of question is that? We barely just met. She takes a moment to rub the bridge of her nose before replying with a sigh. It's actually a bit embarrassing to answer. I prefer missionary, at least it's the most comfortable position from my experience. Cowgirl. She muttered out, a bit embarrassed. She'd try to act more stoic in front of you, but the red tinge that was spread across her face told otherwise. She wasn't used to such questions. She covers her face in embarrassment. Sitlali, Wli, She stammers for a while before shyly answering. Sitlali, I like the mating press. Voressa's cheeks go a bright red as she processes the question, her ears twitching as her eyes dart about, her mouth opening and closing as she attempts a few times to figure out how to answer. MIFF favorite P position, WL. She pauses, taking a deep breath and averting her gaze as she replies softly. F from behind.